A little bit about our quality control and benchmark, because after these work orders are complete, this is the time period which it will be happening. Services that fail the benchmark inspection are required to be addressed within a 24-hour period. A follow-up callback work order will be issued at no charge. Okay, so if we're not completing the cleaning and the debris and the landscaping to an acceptable condition, we have to go back out to the property and make sure that the property is ready to be preserved and in a marketable condition. After the benchmark, again, we have the HPIR Part 3 or the property condition report. This is part of the inspections process, which will require the inspector to complete a full systems check of the property, including the HVAC system, electrical systems, and built-in appliances. In most cases, no utilities will be on the property in order to perform the required checks. Okay? All uploading of the final report and digital photographs, there's that word again, of PCRs shall be completed no later than 5 days from original assignment. So we're going back for the PCR, or the property condition report. We want to make sure that all these systems are working. In this house, this is the final sign-off that this house is ready to be sold, it's in a habitable condition, and it's ready to go. Okay, so once we're through the initial services in the HPIR, the next thing that happens at this house is going to be the routine lawn and inspection. Each property will be maintained in a neat, presentable condition, and will make sure the lawn has a well-manicured look with good curb appeal. Okay? Again, the intent is to make sure that the property is ready to be shown to someone who wants to buy it. We want to remove and properly dispose of all litter and trash, rubble, fallen tree branches, and any other objects such as discarded paper products, newspapers, flyers, glass, wood, or materials or debris, including the carports. So we want to make sure all these areas are free of debris and ready to be looked at by a prospective buyer. Vendor will remove all resulting debris from the premises and not leave it for city pickup. Nothing is to be left at the curbside for city refuse collection. So when we're doing debris removal or picking up all the stuff, everything that we're taking out of each room or off the lawn or off the yard must be taken off the property and moved to an acceptable dumping area. Routine maintenance. We want to cut to the edge of each property line to a maximum height of 2 inches with conventional lawn mowing equipment. Do not leave any grass clippings on top of the lawn. Edging. All paved walkways should be edged either a half to 2.5 inches deep with a bladed edging equipment or machinery. The use of string trimmers for edging is not acceptable. It just doesn't work as well. It doesn't go the way. Trimming. Use a string trimmer to trim around the foundations of all buildings and sheds. Here's some stock photos that we actually pulled out of our archives, and there are a couple of good things and a couple of not so good things that I want to point out about these photos. I know some of you that are listening along this evening have already picked out a couple of things that are wrong with both of them, but I will move forward and point them out as well. The first thing is, okay, we have an acceptable lawn cut on the right, and of course the before picture on the left. Okay, so we want our house looking more like the right than the left. The first thing that I want to point out, there's no date stamp on these photographs, okay? And I can't emphasize this enough, that whoever took these photographs hadn't attended one of our Working with AMS webinars, so they weren't aware that there should be a date stamp on these photographs, and they neglected to do so. That's going to cause a problem. It's going to cause a big problem. So we want to make sure that we're date stamping our digital photographs. The second thing that I want to encourage everybody to do, take your photographs from the same angle. The left one ideally is not ideal because it's obstructed by those tree branches that are hanging down. We would probably much prefer to see a photograph more on the right where you can actually see a large part of the yard as well as the property. But we want to make sure that we're taking the photographs from the same angle so we see the same house, one with high grass, one with low grass. In this particular image, I can tell that they're the same property. Yes, we have a brick house with white doors, white trim, and there's a white garage off the side of it. But I just wanted to point out that we should be taking our photographs with date stamps on them, and we should be actually taking them from the same angle. Okay, we want to make sure we're cutting the entire yard as well. Okay, here's another example on the left. We have strips cut in the yard, unacceptable. Somebody went out and corrected this. The entire yard is now cut. A couple of things to point out. No date stamps, again. So we want to make sure you're date stamping your photographs so that doesn't cause a problem. Also, same angle would also be nice. Again, with this property, we can see that it's the same property, but ideally you want to make it simple so someone doesn't have to study your images to determine, is this really the same house? And that becomes even more pertinent when you're getting into interior photographs when you have white walls and windows and doors that aren't necessarily as unique as the outside of the house might be. Routine maintenance. Clipping hedges and shrubbery. Maintain hedges, shrubs, and trees so they are 18 inches away from the house. Remember that 18-inch radius around the house. No vegetation. Maintain hedges and shrubs so all windows and doors can be seen from the street. Sweeping and removal of leaves and straw. We want to sweep paved sidewalks, driveways, curbs, patios, and porches. Ensure all clippings are bagged. Again, we're not blowing them into the neighbor's yard. We're not blowing them into the street. And we're not blowing them down the sewer drain. Here's some more photographs. Unacceptable disposal of debris on the left. We got a little bit left at the curb. Unacceptable. On the right, okay, we're looking a little better in a couple of things. Again, we had the angles perfectly matched. I'm happy to see that, but a lot of you have already saying, hey, look, there's no date stamp there. You're absolutely right if you already picked that out, so good job. We also, I'd like to point out that the sidewalks, probably there hasn't been any edges here, edging at all, and these sidewalks look pretty bad as well, so I'm sure they weren't done with this particular job. Routine maintenance. We want to make sure we're removing leaves, pine needles, debris, and small branches from the lawn. Shrubs, flower beds, sidewalks, driveways, curbs, carports, patios, porches, gutters, and downspouts and roofs. Also, we want to make sure that's free of any kind of vegetation. Prompt snow removal from private access and snow removal from public walkways consistent with the local codes and within 24 hours of accumulation. Most of the local codes in the United States say that the snow has to be removed within X amount of hours after the storm subsides. Codes vary from city to city or from location to location. We want to make sure that the property is ready to be viewed again within 24 hours, regardless of what the local ordinances say. So we also want to make sure that you're complying with the local ordinance. So if it is 18 hours, or if it is 12 hours, or in some places like Philadelphia where it's 6 hours, we want to make sure that we're complying with all local codes as well. Some examples of snow removal before and after photos. I can tell that this is probably the same property based on the building in the background. We could have done a better job with the angle of the photograph. Also, a bunch of you have already pointed out, you can say, hey, look, there's no date stamp photo. Good for you guys. Again, I'm glad you guys are pointing that out and catching on to this stuff because it's absolutely crucial. Routine inspections, okay? Routine inspections are going to be completed for each property at a minimum of once every 14 days and shall be uploaded with the supporting documentation of digital photographs, date stamped digital photographs, within 1 day of completion. So we don't want to, gather an archive of digital photographs. We're not going to know until that you've completed these services until you actually upload those photographs to your work order, and I'm going to cover that a little bit later. All inspections shall include a complete property inspection report. The completed report shall be utilized to track the property from the date of the initial inspection through the property closing, when it closes again, when it becomes sold. And that's what I was alluding to before. We want to capture the condition of the property with those date-stamped digital photographs as soon as you're assigned it, whether it's the HPIR initial services, and we want to be able to track the condition of that property for however long it's assigned to AMS, okay, or however long it's in HUD's inventory. A couple of things you should look for in routine inspections: vandalism to the property, securing issues, broken windows and doors, or health and safety issues. We want to ensure the property is in ready to show condition that is required at all times. Property should be noted in the inspection report supported with digital photographs. Again, those photographs have to be date stamped. The inspector will also be aware and shall notate in the inspection report any and all health and safety hazards that may appear during the life of the assigned property. All health and safety issues that arise should be corrected and/or reported to the Recurring Services Department immediately.